There have been at least two major events in American history where we had solar storms that were devastating.
And it's not like we haven't had our wake-up calls. Carrington event was a long time ago, and there was another one in 1921, but that was before society was electrified or before it had a power grid in the case of 1921. But in 1989, a much smaller blast knocked out Hydro-Quebec, the power utility depriving some people, several million people, for about 9 hours, and then several thousand households had to make it through March and into April in Canada without electricity for weeks. 2003 Halloween storm hit, knocked out 14 transformers in South Africa, crippled that nation's electricity infrastructure.
I've listened now to many hours about geomagnetic solar storms. I've learned that the frequency of flares coincides with the sun's 11-year cycle, and that cycle is due to repeat late 2012 and into the first part of 2013. Did you notice that little warning box message in the last slide? We've already had some solar magnetic storms, and the last one was in July 2012. But we lucked out. It was only a weak storm, and I heard it did no more than give us a Northern Lights display. I heard one investigative journalist suggest we should stock up on emergency supplies such as food and flashlights and fuel. I would hope this next solar storm, predicted for late 2012, will not be so extreme as to put us in the dark for months or years. We've lived in Colts Neck for over 40 years, and during that time I recall very few power outs, and most for no more than several hours. However, we've been lucky. Other areas in our community have lost power for several days. And with that thought in mind, and with the idea of solar storms, I thought this might be a good time to think about a home generator. In other words, to be prepared. You might want to ask my kids about that song. I went online to collect information on types of generators and what the base price might be. All I needed, I thought, was just enough oomph to power a few lights, the well pump, and the refrigerator. So armed with a little knowledge, I contacted several electrical contractors for estimates. The estimates turned out to be a big electrical shock. One contractor wanted about $20,000, and that did not include the cost for township permits or unexpected install problems. Unexpected install problems? Ha! Let me tell you about that. The house was here when Lincoln was president. The floor under the dining room rests on tree trunks, some with the bark still on them. Every repair done in this house included unexpected problems. Well, so much for a generator, I thought. And then I remembered seeing a contractor's truck on Village Lane where we walked our dog. I asked our nearby neighbor what it might cost to put in a home generator. He came over, went in the basement, walked around the house with a tape measure, found a space that met township safety regulations, and asked some more questions. Several days later, he mailed his estimate. Not only did his estimate include a higher output generator, his cost also included township permits, extra workmen as needed, all the gas line plumbers, and would cover any unexpected problems or parts, all at a very reasonable cost. I ordered the generator early May, and Anthony, our contractor, said it should arrive within 6 weeks. That turned out to be very optimistic. It didn't arrive until late July, and work wasn't started till late August. The first order of business was to install an automatic transfer switch to turn the generator on during a drop in voltage and turn it back on when power is restored. The trench from the basement foundation had to be dug to the generator. There were problems trying to dig the trench close to the house. Then holes had to be drilled through the basement foundation, and electric wiring passed through pipes, fed into the trench and to the generator. A similar procedure had to be done for the natural gas line. The original meter line fed the furnace, but a new hole had to be drilled through the foundation into the basement for the generator gas line. That line was run through 2 basements. Another hole was drilled through the foundation, and the gas line was led through the hole into the trench and then over to the generator. Once the gas line was connected to the generator, it had to be tested to be sure there were no leaks. The line was pressurized to 15 pounds per square inch with air. What's the saying? If it can go wrong, it will go wrong. It did go wrong. The line didn't hold the pressure. The gas line was snaked through a small space, and a small man had to slide in to look for the leak. But the small man couldn't come till the next day. It took a day of searching to find out the line leaked due to a faulty meter valve assembly. It took another day to get parts to fix the valve. And then the system was pressurized again and left pressurized for the full day and night, and happily, this time, the pressure held. But before the trench could be refilled, we had to wait yet another day for an inspector to approve the electrical work, and another day and another inspector to approve the gas line work. And finally, the next day, workmen came to fill the trench.
The darkness of my world was all cleared away. The flowers are blooming. It's a beautiful day. Sunflower, good morning. You should make it like a sunny day.
Now the generator had to be programmed to perform a self-test. It was set to turn itself on each Wednesday at 2 p.m. Will it work?